Hello, I'm Dr. Sherri Young. I'm the Executive Director and the Health Officer for the Charleston Health Department. It's my honor to be here today, at least virtually, with the University of Charleston Pharmacy Program. First of all, I want to thank you and your leadership for the wonderful partnership that we've had in making our vaccination clinics such a success. Through all the partnerships that we've had through the University of Charleston with the Physician Assistant Program, the Nursing Program, and the School of Pharmacy, you have been immeasurably important in our fight against COVID. I don't believe we could be having a virtual graduation at this point and not speak to COVID and how much it has impacted all of our lives for more than a year now. Today, as I stand here, we are 414 days into a fight against an enemy that we could not see, an enemy that we were not prepared for, and in an evolution of a pandemic that we've had to adapt several times. That's what I want to focus on today, is having that adaptability and having that teamwork, and thanking you for all of your efforts that have made us successful in our vaccination efforts, because that is our best way out of that pandemic. A few things that we've learned through the pandemic: the world can be a completely different place. We've learned that a virus can literally bring us to a screeching halt, figuratively and economically, and literally bring our lives to a screeching halt. For more than a year, we've had to use words such as shutdowns and contact tracing and isolation and quarantine, which have become commonplace in our society, things that we never talked about before. This is a virus that, once it got its grips on us, not only in the United States, but in the state of West Virginia and the city of Charleston, we've had people die. We've had over 300 deaths here just in Kanawha County, and it's 300 more than we would ever want to announce. It's 300 too many. And out of respect to those people who have lost their lives in the battle for COVID, we need to finish our work and get the work done and get through this pandemic together. The biggest thing I want you to remember, of course, in graduation, we talk about the future and what the future is going to look like. And for your class, this is a little bit of a different time. Number one, you are taking your page in history. Everything that you've done related to the pandemic, this is going to be in history books and medical books for years to come, just because this is the first big pandemic of our generation, and especially your generation. We don't know that we'll have to deal with this again. There have been smaller pandemics before. There's been H1N1. Nothing like this has ever happened in my lifetime. Knowing that you are young and into your careers, this is something that it's not as much as of an impossibility that we would see something like this again. So what I want you to do with your careers is take what we've learned. We've learned that mankind in general is vulnerable to something you can't even see, so small that you can't see it, but it can kill you, it can hurt you, and it can make everything in the world just a different place. Knowing that vulnerability will serve you well going forward. Not knowing in a way that should make you afraid, but empowers you to know that we can get through this if we work together. If we don't have collaboration, if we don't have our communities in its entirety, if we don't have the healthcare community addressing these types of issues, we never will get through a pandemic. We never will get through anything else that comes our way. Maybe the next thing won't be as big as COVID. I certainly hope not. But it's something that when we talk about COVID, we are not through this yet. As the health officer, I've watched the numbers climb steadily over the last 414 days. I've watched governmental standstills. We've watched absolute shutdowns. We've saw the numbers rise to numbers we could barely manage having all hands on deck. What truly changed for us was when we got the vaccine, and that was really at the height of the pandemic as we know it now. We have a lot of changes coming our way, and it has been difficult. Over 400 days and having only a couple of days off, that comes with its challenges. Your teammates get tired. You can't do this alone. And that's the importance of the collaboration and the teamwork. No one person can pull this off. Not one agency can pull this off. It takes teams of people to even get through phases of what's happening outside in the world with COVID. and we still have a long way to go. Winston Churchill once used the quote, "When you're going through hell, keep going." And that's exactly where we are. It would be so easy because so many people are tired of COVID. So many people are tired of wearing masks. There are those who are not going to get the vaccine. No matter what medical science we can present to them, they do not want to get that vaccine, which presents a challenge because we need people vaccinated to a herd immunity level so that we can get through this. All of a sudden, here we are faced with variants. On one side, it looks like everything's getting so much better. We have vaccines, the hospitalizations are down, we're not seeing as many deaths. That tells us we went to where we needed to go, addressing the 80 and older population, addressing the 65 and older population. Of course, first and foremost, getting our healthcare professionals and our first responders vaccinated. That has saved lives, that has saved countless lives. But when we look at the fact that we have variants coming, still learning things about the vaccines, still learning about ways that our lives could change and maybe having to go back to doing booster shots. Is this going to be an annual issue? There are still so many unknowns. The fact that we still see cases every day and outbreaks every day, things climbing, it is very scary getting into this what I'm calling a post-Easter surge and post-spring break surge. We're getting ready for kids to be out of school, and so with that, I urge everyone, first of all, who has not been vaccinated, who can receive a vaccine, if there is anybody out there that you know, you, yourselves, your classmates, anyone in your families that needs the vaccine but hasn't had it, let us help you. Because we want to keep people safe, we want to keep people alive, we want to get people to the other side of this pandemic, and right now that's one of our only answers. We know that people are going to be going on summer breaks and going different places and traveling. Be safe this summer. There's a lot out there as far as variants. There's a lot out there as far as some places aren't wearing masks or being socially distant. So second, make sure you take care of yourselves. That's good advice in your career too. Always take care of yourself. I have to say, working 414 days in a row, it's exhausting. And that's why it's so important to have teammates that will support you and make sure that you are fed, make sure that you are taken care of, and that you do the same for your teammates, because they can get exhausted and tired too. But make sure you have the right support networks and that collaboration. I hope you never have to fight another pandemic. But if COVID went away tomorrow, you still need those relationships to address your communities, to be the community leaders that I know the UC School of Pharmacy has prepared you to be. The UC School of Pharmacy is far and above one of the best pharmacy schools in the United States, and they have trained you well. You will do well in your career. It is your job now to take what you have learned, not only from your experiences in school and what you've learned in books, but to take what you've learned from this pandemic and make the future brighter. If COVID went away tomorrow, you still need to be there to get vaccines. If everything got better and everything opened up tomorrow, they still need those questions answered. People trust you. You are a face of medicine that people trust and need, and you are one of the most valuable people on the healthcare team. Never forget that. One entity cannot do it by itself, and that is why the collaboration throughout the healthcare community is so important. We could not do clinics where we vaccinate 5,000 people without our partnership at UC and without you students who are so proud of you as you go out into your careers. I can't wait to see what you all do. And I'm so proud knowing that maybe some of the experiences that you had with us is going to carry on with you for the rest of your lives. One more quote and I will send you off to the rest of your graduation. I'd love to quote Socrates or Aristotle or something very, very profound, but I'll leave you with this. John Lennon: life is what happens while you make plans. And we can plan for anything, but just don't forget to live life to its fullest, and make sure that you have the team and support that you need to be a great, great professional and make your leadership count. With that, I thank you and I wish you all the best of luck in your careers.